What's up, guys? This is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. I'm not talking about politics too much at this moment. I'm about to do a live stream on my official page, www.tommynationpolitics.com. So I'll be talking politics then. It'll be in about, 20 minutes or so. But I do want to talk about religion. I've had a lot of interesting encounters with religion, guys. Most of it's spent to convert you, to talk to you about how you're a sinner. You need God. A God. Their God. Mostly their God. Not just any God. Their God. It's a very interesting proposition. Especially when you look into the whole entire package. It's always been the same thing, guys. You're not worthy. You're not enough. You're not making your own decisions. They're not. It's run by a all-powerful sky god that's placed you on this earth with his most powerful and most evil nemesis, Satan. Because you were the most precious thing. Made in his image. Made in his image. Let's just analyze that for a second. Isn't that fucking arrogant? Isn't that arrogant of man to think that if there was a God, that we would be made in his image? Let's just break down why that couldn't possibly be. For one, God hates us if he is real. He hates us because, let's just observe the evidence, guys. According to your stories, he placed us in a world with his most evil, most conniving nemesis that hates us all, and hates his creation, and hates God. Cast him down to earth with us. And he's surprised that his first objective was to tempt Eve in the Garden of Eden. Was God understanding about that situation? Did God nail out the pros and cons of the conversations and the situation? Was he a fair jurist in that story, or did he throw his most precious, made in his image creation out of the garden and then proceed to curse their entire generations after? Yeah, flies off the handle, doesn't he? Kind of needs a Xanax, doesn't he? Turns guys into pillars of salt, women mostly. Also, he gives them childbirth for an extra, bonus, because he hates women mostly. Also, they're frail and they can't defend themselves against men. He really hates women. The thing that he hates more than women, though, gays. Gays are the worst. In Leviticus, it says, "Man shall not lie with a man." And so, all of these things, guys, two of the same cloth, all that stuff, that's been forgiven due to the capitalist economy of the globalist market. The capitalist, redneck, Jesus-loving, flag-waving patrons of this country, though, they have to hang on to a few things, because tradition is what matters. It's what founds this country, guys. It's what founds it in white supremacy and corruption. So, the two things that they have managed to hold on to, guys, these religious zealots, is the hate for the homosexuals and, of course, the love for a unilateral leader that is not a democratically elected leader. He's appointed by God, or is God incarnate, just like their idol Jesus. Let's listen to this message.
I couldn't agree more. It kind of limits your perception and your ability to understand things.
I mean, not only does it limit your whole thing to understand things, but it really honestly makes you hate people. And it makes you say things that are absurd, like these stories. These stories, on their face, if you analyze all of the evidence within the stories, they basically conflict every single attribute that God, in your mind, that you tell me is relevant to. God is love. What is love? On first, and I think it's 2 Corinthians, because I've been to a lot of weddings, guys. Well, love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It's not proud. It's not rude. It's not self-seeking. It's not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrong, does it? Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. So if love is patient, why did he not explain to Eve that the reason that she was so tempted was because this vigorous enemy of God was hard set on ruining his most valued creation? And that we should all take a step back and be patient with each other. Because Eve is new to this human coil, this mortal coil. If God is patient, why didn't he say that to Eve? Why did he curse her? Give her childbearing pain. Make her bleed every month. Make her frail. Make her a second-class citizen. Curse her and her generations. Throw her from the garden. God is patient. Love is patient. God is love, right? Love is patient. Love is kind. Was that kind? It does not envy. It does not boast. In Job chapter 3, verse 1. I am the God of all gods. I am a jealous God. No other gods are more powerful than I am. There's one part in the Bible, guys, where his most hated nemesis, of course, Satan, is strolling around in the heavens, even though he was cast down. And he says, "What are you doing, God?" I guess they were playing golf on Mar-a-Lago. And God says, "Oh, just looking at my most valued creation, man, of course. Of course it's man. He made my image, of course." Satan says, "Oh, these men are not as good as you think they are." "Oh, really? Oh, really? Well, they made my creation, and I know them so well. I fly off the handle sometimes, but for the most part, even though I'm a domestic abuser that curses my children and deports them from paradise, I'll take your challenge, your little golf betting gamble challenge with you, Satan, and I'll let you take my most reverent, my most loyal, my most humble servant, Job, who has never said anything bad about me, praises me every day. And I'll let you torture him, Satan, for my own, I don't know what they were betting on. Was it, it must have been the black chips, guys. It's funny, guys. You read the Bible. They tell me to read the Bible. I read the Bible. They tell me I don't understand. Well, I look for all of the evidence. I literally underline every single sentence in these scrolls and texts and historical, quote-unquote, documents. All I can really gather from it is the context, which is the fact that they are merely tools for governments of this world. The first Bible, of course, the Nicene Creed, Constantine wanted to unite Rome under one religion because it was being torn apart by corruption. So it is today. That's why Christianity is making a comeback, mostly in the Supreme Court, is because we're so insanely corrupt in our laws, in our morals and principles and values, in our politics. We're so corrupt that we have to pretend, guys, that there's a God that really does care. And you can't think about the fact that if he did care, why isn't he fucking doing anything about this? Of course, it's us. It's us. We're the bad people. We should have made dinner at 6 p.m., guys. It's our fault we were slapped. It's our fault. It's hilarious, guys. When you try to convince me of this religion, guys, the only thing you do is you fucking make yourselves sound like a woman who just got beaten because she didn't make dinner at 6. If I could just record you guys. That's why I wanted to make sure that anybody who wanted to challenge me could get on this stereo talk real quick and try to convince me more so I could record you and play it back, the words you're saying. And it sounds exactly like I didn't make dinner at 6 and I should have gotten slapped. And it's my fault because he's perfect. He's the perfect guy. I just couldn't make dinner at 6. At the end of the day, guys, I just want you to know, though, I know what you're doing. I know you have a void inside of you. We all do. It's probably from this God. He's probably not good, if there is a God. And you try to fill it with stories of how he's good, and all the stories do is tell me how horrible he is. Then you try to hate on gays or women, and that just further emphasizes the evidence that your God is cruel, he's a domestic abuser, and he's probably the most evil thing on this planet, if he exists, which he doesn't. Because if he did, he would have abandoned his wonderful creation. He would be a domestic abuser dad who has a habit of abandoning his offspring, if your God exists. So he doesn't. But if he did, guys, I would like you to realize this. Think about how you are as ambassadors to him. When you talk about other people and their problems, why don't you focus on how your God, Job, fucked Job over on a gamble with his most horrible nemesis? Why don't you think about how Constantine united Rome under one religion and cut out books of your scrolls just to suit his own fucking narratives? Why don't you think about, guys, how your Torah and your Quran, or whatever the Muslims say, why don't you think about how all of these people, in the end of the day, they died. There was no God to save them. They died as human beings. They died from dust they were born, and from dust they went back to. So think about that when you talk to other human beings and try to convince them of your religion, how absurd it is, how you sound like an abused woman who didn't make dinner at 6, and how if you want to convince anyone of anything, maybe you should try to lead by example. Other than that, guys, the only way to live life is to be free-thinking, innovative, and open-minded. This is Tommy Nation Politics.